Loot Bet, made for live betting.
Don't know how to build a team from scratch or find good teammates? DreamTeam.gg, the ultimate team building platform. Find and connect with new players, coaches and teams. Manage and monetize your team. Get on fast track to advance from novice to amateur and, if desired, to professional gamer. Join DreamTeam.gg today.
It's the quick scope! This is unreal! Anything is possible. Anything is possible! Zillow is a monster, Tom!
Map 2, overpass now between NRG and North. Vendetta, you're believing in the comeback.
I'm
At least for this map.
yeah, no, I'm staying hopeful for NRG. Again, I think what they've showed us, like, even yes, it's online CS, and yes, it doesn't, like, people shouldn't put too much stock into it. But NRG showed that it's not like they're just running and gunning everywhere. Like they had a plan behind what they were doing. I don't think that really came to fruition or really clearly showed during Nuke. But I think that's just a case of North being, again, like we talked about during the veto phase, the fact that it's the map with the biggest difference between the two teams.
Yeah.
The only worry I really have is the fact that, again, as you mentioned, Tours was kind of a bit of a turning point for North, and they followed that up with qualifying for Cologne in a very dominant fashion, just smashing Hellraisers on Overpass, for instance, which we're going into. So that is a bit of a worrying factor, but I do, have some optimism in place for NRG as well. If not a win, then definitely a much better showing. Like, this should be a fairly close contested game.
Yeah, again, they did start T-side, and you can already, getting 4 rounds, like, regardless of how that half went, you go into that second half with such I think it's hard to reset after. It's maybe easier to reset after a map, but after a bad half and you go into that CT side, I feel like you're already kind of at like, we really need to.
Yeah, like we started off so well. We got the pistol, we got an early buy round, and like from that point on, when you're sitting up with 4 rounds, I think it was 4 to 5 at one point, right? At that point, you feel like, well, we can very easily get 6 because we can break the economy of North at this point. But then when it just continues to struggle, and you don't really get that close either. Like, yeah, you had the Dav Smirch 1v1. That didn't pan out.
Yeah.
That probably could have been a big get for them. But outside of that, you weren't really getting close to actually winning rounds. So that does leave you with a bit of a dejected feel as you move on to the second half. It's just like, well, we didn't really have a fighting chance in this one. But again, it's like you talk about often how teams find it easier to lose very one-sided games rather than having that slugfest where you almost bring it back and then lose at the finish line. So should be easier to mentally reset yourself going into the map. Now you're on much more familiar ground in that sense. So you should be able to put up a decent fight.
I hope so. I hope we do have a good game here. Again, like all battle, I think is going to be a big factor, and I feel like on this map maybe we'll have Cirque on that a little bit more. I'd like to see him start CT side as well.
I think regardless, you're going to see more ups on the Cirque, simply because it lends itself. Yeah, it lends itself much better to having an up on this map. And Cirque has had some absolutely stunning performances on this one, and also the 2 other youngsters on that side, in Ethan and Breezy, have had much better performances on Overpass. So again, I think it's much more familiar territory for them, and that's going to be showcased in a big way. Whether it's going to be good enough for a win, that remains to be seen. But I definitely think they stand a fighting chance of bringing this to a third map.
Well, knife round ahead, so we're going to see where teams will be starting in terms of T or CT side. I don't think it will make a huge amount of difference. Again, overpass like a little bit CT sided, but it's not like Nuke where it's very dominant.
It's not a wash.
No, and that's good for NRG. They get the start that they want. I imagine that is CT again. It is their map pick, so definitely going to be comfortable here and have a game plan. It's not like that's ever been a struggle for them. It's just like, okay, do we have our stars stepping up? Do we have everyone hitting their shots? And at least for Nuke, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can tell like what players have been to what players have been to local lands before they started playing professionally. In that sense, you could tell by how their keyboard is tilted. Everybody just playing at like a 90-degree angle keyboard.
Yeah, basically your hand going back inside of your chest or whatever.
Anything to do, anything to save space, really. Which it's not an issue anymore at these tournaments here. Obviously, you have like a big table for yourself, but still, it just becomes so familiar territory that you can't necessarily mess with your setup or, your mojo's off.
I'm a pet there in the background.
Yeah, recently acquired coach, and we talked about how obviously it's going to be tough for him to have any sort of impact as to how NRG plays. With I think it's 2 or 3 days.
Especially when Overpet is more of an analytical coach, right? He's a demo watcher.
Yeah.
He's
gonna have a lot of work.
Yeah.
Ahead of him. Like he's gonna have a lot to watch at least after this run from NRG side. It's gonna be a lot to work on. So in that sense, it bodes well for the future.
Not even that. He's very good at preparing for other teams, specifically like anti-stratting and working out how other teams like to play their CT setups, for example. So I think that's again, like, while he will probably know some of this stuff anyway due to his recent experience in the scene in terms of some teams, I feel like North, who have already just made like massive changes in terms of how they approach this game, stuff like that for Ironpet is probably going to be unknown territory in terms of this specific matchup.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely not easy for him, but the pressure's kind of off considering he joined, and you're hoping for the players at least to bring the heat. We had Daps top of the board in the previous map. We want a different player here. We want maybe the AWPer.
Yeah, I want to see a big game out of Zark. He hasn't had the greatest performance in these offline tournaments that NRG has had, but we know that he's a very capable AWPer, and we know that before he even went to NRG, back when he was playing with his Bulgarian team, that he did well at offline tournaments as well, obviously, but a different quality of players he's going up against, but he's also taken massive steps to becoming a better player in that period of time as well.
I like this setup. NRG are going to have really fast rotations into the B site, and although we have a boost, they're going to know fully this is an execute. Molotov is down. It may actually corrupt this boost, but Cirque and Daps, they're going to come in from the back lines, corrupting North. Damage done, and Bomb does go down. North are committing to it here. That's very, very ballsy considering they know their back line's open, and now their front is open as well, because Breezy is just finding headshots. Ethan as well, another kill coming through, and Kiebi has been cornered, trying to chase down more frags. Bomb's not planted for him, and he's going to be chased by Fugly. Nice round from NRG. Team Ace, everyone stepping up.
Everyone doing their part. But again, cool strategy from North, honestly. Again, the setup that NRG used in that situation is almost ideal to actually counteract it with the quick rotations through underpass. But the idea is really solid. Double nade towards Toxic, so anyone coming out from Monster doesn't have really any worries at all as to having to clear out that spot, or if there is someone there, it's going to be like one bullet to to their feet to actually take them down. In addition to that, you have the molly to deal with the boost that NRG actually had in place. So I guess, if you see a little bit of a different setup from NRG where they focus more over towards Fountain and that area of the map, then it's an easy bomb take for North, and they could play the aftermath position from a very aggressive position as well.
I'd like to hear what you think about this just over the Seco. NRG now, both pistols that they've won, they've gone for full rifles after on CT and T side, like with FAMAS and M4s instead of SMGs. Your thoughts?
I prefer having an SMG instead of the FAMAS at any given time. I just don't think it's a good weapon. If you have them, if you've gotten enough kills, it lets you get the defuse, you get a kill, etc. You will have enough for an M4, and you can actually get some grenades, which is similar, which is what Fugly and Cirque has done. I think that's perfectly fine. That's probably the ultimate or preferred option, because you need some M4s on this side, even though you're going up against an eco. Even if it's a clean, you just can't know if they're going to force into it or not. So gives you a bit of leeway, gives you a bit of range to play with, which is great on a map like Overpass. But the FAMASs I'm not too happy about.
Well, Fugly and Daps have no idea what's on the other side of that wall, and they're about to be met by a tirade of angry Danish men. Never fun.
Not really that big of a fan of Daps' position. Very easy to get caught out, but he does have 2 more players helping him out here.
Here's the push, though. Contact made from Daps. The main trying to overwhelm him, but there are 3 CTs in position, and with no armored players for North, it is like pigs to the slaughter. They are getting ripped apart. Nice round from NRG. They get away with no deaths, and actually no damage done at all. So, yeah, okay, Famises are Famises, but if they're not losing them, they're at least taking confident rounds. The thing is now they're going to be bringing them into this one.
Yeah.
When North actually have rifles. That was a full eco after the bomb plant on pistol.
Yeah, and that's also one thing that they might have expected, I guess, out of North. Depending on, what kind of team you go up against, how they usually handle their economy. With the bomb plant going down, I think it's fairly safe to assume that a team like North is going to buy up in that 3rd round, and that's why they've stuck with FAMAS instead of having an MP9. And, depending on where the player is positioned, right? Like what place of the map he plays, you can't necessarily have an MP9 and hold off A long.
Yeah.
That's not going to work out too well for you. Like, sure, you can play around in toilets, but depending on what kind of setups you usually run as the CT side, you want to have the option, at least, of playing from range, even though the FAMAS isn't necessarily optimal for it.
Oh, I like the call from North, but Cirque is going to shut it down. They went fast long, knowing that NRG were very heavy on that banana setup in the previous round, hoping for the same here. And although it came through, Cirque lined up a couple of kills, but they're trading right back. Valdi and AZ, entries to the A bomb site, and North have somehow got themselves back in control of the round, and it's over. Like, instant there for North. 3 kills from AZ, and it looked great for NRG after those first 2 kills from Cirque, but it crumbled.
Yeah, no, Cirque doing a great job finding a double kill, and again, just negating the pressure from long almost immediately. Fugly taking a lot of damage is, I guess, an unfortunate accident for NRG in that sense because they were kind of lined up. But that still should have been enough for NRG to get a rotation in time. It's the fact that I think it was Ethan, it was the first rotation in, gets kind of caught out as he jumps on top of Optimus. Again, has a FAMAS, not going to be favored in a duel versus an AK, and is not able to get him down. If he's able to win out that duel and actually get into the corner, that's going to stagger the push onto site from North even more so. And you probably get a very different outcome of the round, but not to be the case.
And now we have a really awkward money spot for NRG where they're like in between 3,500 and 4.2k.
Yeah,
so it's like some players can buy and some can't. That's, I assume, why they pulled the tactical pause in here.
Yeah, not worry. I would not invest into this simply because you only managed to down 2 players on the side of North. So they're going to be able to reinvest fully. They're going to have full utility. It's going to be really tough to break with you having very limited utility, especially on the CT side. If North decides to slow play around like this, then what do you do as energy? Yeah. So they're thinking long term, and they want to get that op on Zerk as well. That's one of their biggest strengths and one of the biggest threats to North,
especially on a very AWP heavy map as well. And North haven't even brought theirs in yet, so maybe a chance for Zerk to strike. But for now, he is already dead. USPs for NRGs. And probably a GG in this round because North, again, they do take their way up towards long. I like it when teams do this on anti-ecos. Gambit love to push up long A on anti-ecos, yeah.
2 teams, again, you see so many teams kind of thinking they're still like, oh, we need to get control or overpass, and they run into like 2 people with a ZZ who end up getting 4 kills or something idiotic. And it's just like, well, there's not a whole lot we can do. And energy, they've just committed fully. Yeah, you've got the Astralis stack here on the B bomb site, and I think you have the last player up on higher to kind of spot out and take immediate attention from them. But still, they're only working with limited weaponry here, so remains to be seen what they can actually do.
Yeah, you'd think it wouldn't be too much for hassle for North, but it just depends if they check their corners, and AZ certainly will. Diving into the pit, only 1 kill. Breezy trades back, but it's short-lived here for NRG. North find their second round on the board and shut it down pretty easily. So, a couple of casualties here and there, but here's the buy from NRG. The double AWP straight in.
Double up is, yeah, that's a heavy investment. I'm not sure if that's actually a necessity either, especially considering the fact that they know that with North buying up in the 3rd round, they're not necessarily going to have built up too much of an economy. They've lost a couple of players. Chances of them investing into an op or someone having enough to buy an op for merch, not too likely. So I think you can get away with having 1 up. But I guess if they want to get active on both sides, then this is fine.
Fugly. He's not got a teammate here. He's kind of left out to drive. Should fall back in this position. Very, very dangerous without tradable teammates there. And North are going to just take control of the party and the playground. So safe bet from him to fall back. But in the meantime, AZ's dropped a man down on B. And with nothing in for NRG, that's already an awkward start.
So that's Ethan losing out just an op duel. I'm not sure if he got him through smoke or not, but it's definitely not the way NRG wanted to start off the round. But yeah, Fugly's positioning there is really risky, especially because he has nobody in underpass to cover that kind of angle. So when he sticks around on balloons for that long, he could really easily get flanked as he's rotating back, even though he has to smoke cover from Fountain.
good point. Dangerous positioning, and NRG now split 2-2. North have found the pick early down towards B, so they're looking to commit there with the bomb as well. Yeah. All 5 Ts grouping.
Nice setup there from Daps and Breeze. Breeze is just awaiting any sort of pop flash up here. You can see Daps going to take first contact. Only issue with, I guess, Breeze standing with his back turned is the fact that he can't spot shadows anymore. And if it's a walk-in play, then that's going to be rough.
But the Molotov's down, they're sitting inside of it as well. North do smoke out, there's the push. Breezy lines up one, but AZ's going to trade right back and follow up to the man on the site. Kierby cleaning it up, and North are all over B. The Molotovs are down, and they've cut off NRG's rotations.
And it's saving time for Fugly and Cirque here. No real option to actually attempt for a retake. Daps in that situation needs to get 1 or 2 frags, because Breeze does a great job of actually, first off, finding the first kill into MSL, but then being able to stay alive enough and forcing North players to get into a wide enough angle from Monster that Daps should have an easy kill or 2.
We've actually seen a lot of teams recently kind of counter the position that Breezy was sitting in by throwing nades over from short, right? Like stacking up and kind of going like full flip side Mirage site, like boosting on their heads and throwing HGs in. And yeah, that's actually been quite exciting to see. There's been a lot of nice nade usage recently on this map.
People have been watching Astralis.
Yeah,
like,
right.
If they can double nade, then surely we can too.
Ooh, you can see the barrel, Valdi. You can see the gun. Oh.
Apparently couldn't.
Well, tunnel visioned in.
Yeah. Well, you knew that Fugly was somewhere around that area, so that's probably what it was focused on.
Oh, the temptation here for NRG to buy is probably pretty high as well, considering they took out 4 players of North in that previous round.
See here, Daps definitely should be able to get more out of it, but he had picked up
the
an
orb
off instead. He had a cult to start things off, but it picked up Ethan's up. I have no idea why he would want to do that, because even if it's a B split, you definitely want a cult. Unless you're taking an aggressive angle there, you want a cult in pretty much any situation, I think, unless you're just a very proficient opper, which Daps isn't.
Yeah, right. You're relying on Breeze to get like 2 kills in that position to really make it worth it. Nice job from Fugly. Does wallbang Kierby. And Cirque's actually still posted here, but Fugly's dropped the bomb. It's just rolling into the hands of Cirque. He's going to pick that up and be pretty happy with it. As North now down to 2. Great flashbang to blind up the AWP. They keep him pinned down because they've already spotted him early in the round when he took that early AWP duel. And now the push up to finish off Breezy. He's isolated due to the utility cutting off Cirque. But Cirque's hungry for more. Looks in again with AWP, but he's unsuccessful. And now with AZ coming over the top as well, he can maybe trade this back. But Cirque is keeping NRG in this round. Second kill found and jumping up. AZ now in the clutch. And this is the best clutcher for North. This man in a 1v1, it's a scary task, but Daps, the proficient AWPer that we talked about, or not.
Well, in that situation, happily finds an AWP that was dropped earlier on by Zerk. It started off the round with only a pistol, so if it didn't find a weapon there, that could have gotten real rough. But yeah, it works out for NRG, and didn't have to even invest into that round necessarily to get it back. The AWP from Zerk and obviously the Colt from Fugly doing all that is required.
And that's awkward because we said like there's temptation to buy for NRG. If they lose it, of course, it's a massive loss. But if they win it, then North have been reset, and now they have, right?
Yeah.
Off the back of NRG not even buying. So they've got fantastic weaponry here because
which is why that also makes it a bit interesting to see why North decide to actually buy into this round, right? Because they know that they've given away basically a freebie round, so the economy of energy is not going to be that shook. And Ethan, oh, there we go. Okay.
You got
readjusts.
Yeah, 2 kills. That's all right. That will certainly do. And MSL, he wants a double as well. He's going to get himself onto the site, and with teammates supporting the man in the pit, has been grounded. Somehow North have just taken control of this round. It is just Cirque and Fugly left for the retake, but this is one you would certainly attempt. Already damage has been done here to the T side, and MSL's down to 9 points of health. So this M4 suddenly looking a whole lot more feisty as they try and sneak their way into the site. Contact not being made. They fall out. Fair enough. North aren't committing to any kind of duels here. They're holding very passive angles, so NRG would either have to full-on balls to the wall, commit to that round, or just straight up save. There's no dilly-dallying around. There's no questioning.
Yeah. Well, it's just, again, well played by North. Again, questioning, it's kind of hard to tell what happens there with Daps in that situation, but obviously Ethan opens things up very nicely for them. They get a lot of information just off of the fact that he gets the first pick. Again, the nade's flying over from North. I feel like, considering the weaponry that North have to go into that B-bomb site with, there should be more kills coming out of both Breezy and Daps in those circumstances when Ethan is able to alleviate pressure with 2 kills. So that could be a potential weakness that North is eyeing on right now, the fact that they're not necessarily getting the contributions they need from the players on that B bomb site.
Still 2 orbs in play though, but neither of them on Cirque. I'm assuming Fugly's going for a spawn play, and he does actually get the tag, so he should probably swap the gun back now. Give Cirque his orb. There we go. That's good. They trade it back at least. And yeah, he's posted, but Cirque's going to miss a shot. They spent too long trying to trade weapons, and it allowed North to kind of get into position. And look at that. They've already worked their way up long very, very fast. Can take control of the A site, but NRG are aware of it at the very least. They will go back and spot. Good flashbang again, and Fugly going to open up. Cirque joins the party as well, and NRG are going to start to take some control of this round. 2 kills in their way, and Valdi's still tagged up.
Fugly and Cirque doing a massive job to keep energy in this. Oh. This is more like it. This is what we were hoping to see from Cirque, not something we've seen too much of, sadly, in this offline venture from him. Tags up the guy on long as well. It's like Cirque is getting into a state where he's feeling it, and that's a scary monster to deal with. Already sitting on 10 frags.
Having a very strong game. MSL's found the AWP off of Mert, so is going to try and open up to this A site, but everyone's here, and the flank is already in. Breezy's coming in from the back line there. Cirque doing more damage. They don't even need the flank, but MSL's alone on 7 points of health. There shouldn't be a way that he can win that round, and there's not. NRG take it and continue with this double AWP into the next round. It's just back and forth right now. Neither team being able to stand up and actually give real punches.
Yeah, but well, North are running into the same issue that whenever they go towards that A bomb site, Fugly and Cirque are comboing very, very well to find picks before North can actually get close up. And again, it's very tough to deal with an active Opera on that A bomb site. You have to use so much utility to clear them out initially, which again is going to make your initial or your final push towards a bomb site a lot weaker, regardless of whether or not you end up towards B or A. So it's like, how much of utility do you want to invest to actually just get Cirque off an angle to the point where you can get close to a site and potentially overpower him? But you know, if that's even feasible at that point, because again, it's not like Cirque is playing this bomb site alone. You've seen Fugly come in with multiple multi-kills in several rounds now. So yeah, depending on what North do, they decide to force buy into this. They do have at least some utility on Kirby and Valde. They could go back to like a similar B setup or B play as they did in the previous round, because taking out someone like Cirque now is going to be an extremely tough task.
Yeah, with no AWP of your own, and Mert's off to a slow start as well. It's going to lead them down on B this time. Does make contact, but won't win the duel. Neither team does. AZ doesn't want to overcommit. He only has one of those 2 rifles, so very important that he at least holds on to that for now.
Does his part, clears out water for the time being. Somewhat surprising to see actually North going up towards the banana area here, though. The way they positioned themselves, they could have gotten water control. They could have set up for, again, like a similar monster push or B split as we've seen in the past. They actually want to take the challenge to both Cirque and Fugly, and that's not been ending well for them so far. Cirque is getting aggressive and is going to find the first pick as well.
Again, always opening up for this team. He's going to fall back to the site, so his teammates should probably do the same, because Fugly's kind of alone here. They won't expect this position, that being said, though, because Cirque's already fallen back, and Fugly's timing, he turns around. Luckily, still gets a kill, but now he may get overwhelmed by these Ts. It's a no. 2 kills from Fugly. A man up long, KOB flashing through the smoke. Fugly still sitting in the corner. There's the entry. The AWP is dead on the site from the CT side, but Fugly's certainly not, as he finds his 3rd kill. Looking for a 4th, but he just runs low on bullets and leaves Valdi on 2 points of health. A nade, though, for Daps might be able to seal the deal, and there it is, flying in. NRG will find the round. That's nice work on the retake.
Airmail. Right there. But yeah, and again, it's just the fact that Fugly and Cirque are able to do so much damage before North even get up on the site. Like, eventually when they get up on site, it's, well, Kirby has gotten up by his own to take out Cirque, but is traded by Fugly. So in a sense, when North actually get, I guess, control over the bomb site, if you can call that control, it's Valde left on 2 HP. So
he shouldn't have even survived there as well. The spray was fine.
The spray was fine, just ran out of bullets.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so for North, they're not necessarily getting close to winning these rounds. They got a bomb plant, which is good for their economy, long-term wise. But yeah, no, it's just a really tough task. They're having real issues actually dealing with that combo from NRG on A. Well, now they're going to go up to an eco. The force spying has finally ended.
Thank God.
And this time, Ethan's not going to get picked off to start off the round. Finds AZ, and Breeze is going to follow that up with a kill onto AZ as well.
Ooh, very split push here from North. And again, what you would expect given they're on pistols, so
Yeah.
not a real issue. No damage done, though, not even a point from the Danes. NRG will get out pretty clean. 6 and 4 now, and here's the buy-in from North once again. We've got rifles, we've got no AWP on Mertz, who's got 1 kill right now. Daisy trying to win this game for North, 10 and 7 himself.
Doing the best he can. Well, yeah, Mertz not being able to get into the game at all and not having his hands on an opposite is a big issue. And I think with the way Cirque is playing right now, I don't see Cirque actually being able to go toe-to-toe with Cirque either. And that loses quite a bit of punch, actually, and, well, a lot of purpose for someone like Mertz.
Especially when how hard it is sometimes to get a pick down on B, especially. Like, if you want to use the AWP on the T side, it's more towards the A side you'll be seeing them. But
yeah.
if you try and take this fight to Ethan down on B, it's very difficult as an AWPer to get the angle. But with a rifle,
you're much more mobile.
Yeah, pretty good. That will work. AZ finds the opener.
Yeah, very well done by North, setting that up with the pop flash as well. So showing that team play coming into fruition and paying off in a big way. So that's an opening. Breeze still rocking from Moss until it's going to swap up for an op. I haven't really been too big of a fan of the off defense really on B so far from NRG. They're so solid riflers in both Ethan and Breeze that I would have liked to see them continue on with that. But he's going to find the first frag onto MSL, so equalizing the numbers at least. And staggers the push from North as well.
It looked like they want to rotate back up for a second before they realized it was actually the push coming through. Cirque going to spot another man from the heaven, and he finds 2 shots in as well. Fugly finally joining the fray. The A rotators have made their way down to the lower site, and it leaves just Valdi. In a 1v2, he's trying to isolate Fugly. He knows where both players are, but Cirque has the cross. That makes things very, very difficult. Sick nade. Lots of damage, but Cirque is going to have the angle, and that's not going to work out. NRG, another round, and it's Cirque with 3 kills off the back of a rotate.
Yeah, and I think the what you mentioned there initially, it looked like North wanted to back off. The second MSL dies. It's a bit of like a moment of hesitation and indecision, and that allows for Cirque to get into a position. You can see how deep he is in his rotation. It's not like he's on heaven trying to pick people off and, you know, could potentially get smoked off. He's actually gotten really deep into the bomb site to actually help with that that B hold. And that's the small details that North mess up in that round that allows for that to happen. And with the way Cirque is playing now, you can't really allow him to give him any more player than he already has. He's going to take a mile if you give him an inch.
Well, NRG certainly are looking more comfortable on this map. That's to say for sure.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we would have expected. Again, North, yes, they have been on an upward trend since tours. Obviously, they're playing really well in in France and also the Cologne qualifiers. But it has to be said that we can't really solidify them as a team that's playing well as of right now or just yet. Even though they had a good showing versus Mouse Sports as well yesterday. But NRG are no slouches on overpass,
as we can see, and still in the lead as well as North look to that B site once again. They showed early A presence. Catch any kind of aggressive playing from NRG, but Cirque's not doing that this time. He's sitting on the site. Again, meaning that he's going to have that fast rotate down to B. So if we do see this B site actually cave in and North get control of it, that rotate's going to be so dangerous. Nice flash from MSL, does blind up Daps, but North are very slow to push up. It's already worn off. The effects are gone, but Daps is 2. He's only found a single kill, and there is Ethan with the AWP. The A rotates once again, kicking in here for NRG. And Fugly down on the site, doing damage. Kiebi alone with 4 points of health. In a 1v3, this is probably over.
It's a pretty tough task. Goes up the nade. Ooh, that's a sick shot onto Cirque. Cirque actually being a little bit slow there as Kiebi creeps in, but still 4 HP. Not giving him a whole lot of hope here to finish things off. Does get the bomb plant though, so that's a pretty nice get considering this was more or less a half investment from North as well. So they can be happy with how that round panned out.
And a pause as well being instantly called in. I feel like that's North going, okay, we got the money, we got the buy. What are we doing here? Let's work out how we want to approach this round.
And again, like I will say that they end up losing the round, but the way they get into the B bomb side in this round, it's still off of the back of Daps only like barely getting 1 frag. And same thing with Breeze. Breeze gets immediately traded. If North have better weaponry in those kind of situations or more utility to play off of as well, that B bomb site could get lost so quickly to the point where they don't necessarily get the trades. If there's a smoke down for Ethan playing that passive position with the op, then he's not going to be able to help. He's not going to get that one necessary frag that stems the tide really from North. So I feel like if you're North, you continuously go back to that B bomb site and just harass Breezy and Daps are not having the greatest of games. Like, they're getting a couple of frags here and there, but they're not necessarily being staples on the B bomb site.
And again, like we mentioned, the flash from MSL to Daps, you know, they peaked 2-3 seconds after it wore out. If they got the timing a little bit better on North's side, he's blind, he doesn't even get a kill there, and maybe North actually win that 2v2 instead of leaving that last player alone in the clutch. It's a hypothetical that could have been for North, and if they go at it again with rifles, as you say, it could certainly be a one round.
Yeah.
They need that at this point.
And a very different approach from NRG here. They know that, you know, they're probably expecting like a fairly tactical approach from North in this kind of round, given the timeout and everything. So they've gone aggressive on A here. They've left B just completely open, which is, well, very risky, but we'll see if it pays off. For now, though, Fugly not committing fully. I'm curious if he's actually within range to hear the scopes from Mertz.
Definitely hear the jumps at the very least.
Yeah, and now he's eking closer, and Mertz is just about to have a real bad time.
Yeah, double scoped in, not going to be ready for that one. There's a pick for NRG. North not even going to bound into B as well, because they assume that NRG have at least some information that they are down towards that B site due to the aggressive positioning.
And this is a massive issue, really, for North. They've given up complete map control, and NRG play it well. Like, they're falling back. They're playing off of the fact that they have a man advantage, and now Fugly is going to be in a prime position to just wreak more and more havoc.
And they line up for him. Oh, it can get easier. Fugly with his third kill of the round. CZ out. He's hunting for more. AZ's in the toilets, but maybe he's still going to be holding on to this round. No, not for long. Breezy with a long flank, and it's going to be another one for NRG. 4 players kept alive as well after Fugly finds 3 kills. And he's come into a real game of his own as well. These 2 A players, Fugly and Cirque, both 15 and 5 and 15 and 6 respectively.
Yeah, no, they haven't really been the dominating forces on the CT side, and it's not necessarily only on the A bomb side, but whenever North have attempted to go towards A, they've been shut down before they can reach a bomb site, and now the B pushes have been staggered enough, I guess, on the side of NRG to the point where they get their rotations in. But yeah, no, if I'm North, I feign pressure towards mid, try to get control and force Fugly and Zerk to play back. And from that point on, I'm hitting B every single time.
Well, AZ tried to. Just found a pick. Cirque's dead. So that's one of the 2 problems out of this round. He was playing aggressive towards that water position on B. So a bit of a reposition that went wrong, at least, for NRG. And they've now got to make up for that. Consequences, a man advantage for North. And Fugly up on A with one of his 2 AWPs as well. He does hit that shot. Kiebi dead. Fugly, he's kind of stuck here. He's got to commit to this angle, and MSL is going to get flashed through the corner. Fugly looked away, but it's the reposition of the scope that catches him off guard. And there's the kill now for North to put themselves in the man advantage. They can run towards the site, but Ethan can do the same. Scoped up on the box as well. He's got to hope they don't run through the smoke, because that's when things can get a bit frantic. Valdi, another entry frag coming in. The bomb plant being made. Ethan's still hitting shots, but Mertz has finally come into his own with the AWP as well. Takes down Breezy on the rotation and leaves just Ethan alone on the site. Trying to find the angle around the edge of the box. The smoke not dissipating just yet, and he does get the shot to MSL. At least an opportunity presented itself, but they can both double peek him at the same time. They've got really good after-plant positions. He can only hold one angle. Will the timing be good? They hold. They don't fall for it, and Ethan, he's got to fall back.
Mertz actually wants some more.
That's fair enough. Like, trying to take the AWP away is understandable.
There's still plenty of money, though, on the side of NRG, though. They've won so many rounds in a row.
Yeah.
So, but Mertz may be trying to get an extra kill to get him more into the game. He hasn't had the biggest of impacts up till this point. We haven't really seen an AWP in his hands at all throughout this first half. But yeah, that's the big difference maker, I guess, is the fact that AZ, to start things off of the round, is able to find Zerk. Zerk trying to not be towards A anymore.
And that's really the first time NRG have got aggressive on that B site as well, right? They just played that 1-2 combo with Daps and Breezy down towards lower. And the first time that we see anything on B in terms of taking map control is Cirque pushing water and getting killed by AZ. So I don't think NRG need to do that.
I think the first double op purchase round they had, AZ also found Ethan. It was that through Smoke Monster or something like that. But in any case, the aggression on B hasn't worked out. But look at this quick B push. And this is what I would have liked to see. Obviously, the setup doesn't necessarily do any favors for NRG initially, but on the bomb site, bomb could go down very easily here. Let's see if Dabs actually tries to stop it. Not going to be the case.
Ooh. Wall banging that box. I hear Anders in the background. Nades over, good utility. There we go. He's going to be very happy with that one. Fugly finds MSL in through the wood. And Daps, he's going to find another frag moving up through the ramp. Nice shot from Valdi to keep it in at least alive for the time being. But he's got to find a 1v2 now to win the round, and it's not going to happen. 10 in the half for NRG. They do find the retake again. It's the Fugly Cirque combo that will win them this half.
Yeah, Daps stepping up big there, getting 2 frags. Seems like North, after clearing out Breezy by Toxic, kind of got, or they figured that they've completed the side take in that sense, even though Daps was posted up by Water. So he gets the easy frag of, I think it was Valde who jumped over, obviously low HP. So not the hardest frag, but the fact that there's nobody there to trade him out afterwards is a bit of an issue. But I like the tempo and the ID from North there. They get in towards the bomb site so easily. So much more easier than what
English
you had.
Is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
I struggle.
It's rough, all these words. But yeah, no, they get into the B-bomb site in a much easier fashion than what they did towards A. Like whenever they've gone towards A, they've been resistance from Fugly and Zerk. That's not necessarily been the case over towards B. So I think it's still the right approach, even if they don't win the round off of it.
Things are looking up for NRG as they try and pull us forward to that third map. But the pistol would make that far easier here. And North, they've got only USPs, no real investment, just Kevlar coming in. Nice shot from Kiebi, though. That's a good way to kick things off.
Yeah, especially onto Zerk. That's one of the heavy hitters so far in this map for Energy down. Taking a lot more passive approach here. Smirt's just going to take the 1 bolt in the back off. Same thing for Kiebi as well. This is the right way to play it. You have the man advantage, no need to throw it away by getting caught out and in an unnecessarily aggressive position.
And these angles are so ranged as well. It's so hard for NRG to get their way up. Like, they have the smoke on Daps. They can maybe throw out deep towards long, but no. They made the right choice. Drop down towards B. North's defense on that site is pretty weak right now. There's only 1 player jump spotting, but MSL just sees them come out of the connector, so he will be calling for the rotates. Push into the site, but shots not connecting to any kills here just yet. Fugly's in the pit. He's pushing up close. Breezy with another entry kill coming through, and he's just going to double it. Triple it. Breezy is on fire. 2 players left up for North, and it might not be enough unless we have a hero play, but Vauli looks to step up to that mantle. So much damage both ways, but neither of them finding kills. He does tap the bomb at the very least, forcing Peaks out, and Fugly going to win another duel. Mert's alone, and it's Fugly and Breezy to win that round for NRG.
There we go. Breezy just manning up in a massive way there. After finding the first strike, you might expect him to be content with that, but definitely decides that MSL is going to be his target for that round. It's a really dangerous play as well, because it could have very easily been caught out in the back, you know, as the rotations are coming in from North, but it's quick enough onto the trigger and snappy enough to actually get back to, I think it was Walter's rotating over again back. So pretty much wins the round, or sets Energy up at least in a perfect position to win out that pistol round.
Reserved investment here from North. They only go for pistols with no Kevlar, so looking to get a bit of a better buy when it comes down to that full rifle round. And now for at least this one, it should be NRG having a pretty clean sweep on this B site. Spray is very good for Breezy. It doesn't get a single one of the 2 kills though. It's going to be stolen away by NRG, and Valdi at least doing some damage as well, leaving just Mertz.
Yeah, Breezy with the aesthetically pleasing spray.
Yeah.
It's half the game.
Not going to work.
Well, things are working out really nicely for Energy, that's for sure. And I'm actually okay with, like, I don't mind seeing CT sides do similar. And I think we're seeing more and more, actually, teams not deciding to get in on the Kevlar. You can still do a ton of damage with the ZZ no Kevlar, or a Deagle no Kevlar. Or if you would just want to buy, you know, Kevlar no helmet, that's also a perfectly fine investment. There we go, Cirque eventually gets the kill onto Mertz. But yeah, it's not the biggest of deals, right? Because the Deagle's set up in a way, like, you use the Deagle in a way where you're just going to fire off a couple of shots and then reposition. And that armor's not going to help you in that scenario. No. CSEDs as well, you're going to be so close up that it's just going to be a matter of 2 seconds where there's a gunfight. Aim punch from that close of a distance doesn't really have too much of an impact, so you're fine either way, right?
Yeah.
I guess the only issue where it comes into play is if you get that one pick and you pick up a weapon just in the middle of nowhere, more or less, then yeah, sure.
And like late round positions on the CT side when you're not really controlling your duels, right? If you're holding a close angle, that's one thing, but what if you're retaking a site with a CZ and no
Exactly,
armor?
that becomes a whole lot harder. 5-man train coming into Fugly. He's not going to be able to give us an ace, but 4 kills is more than enough to secure the round for Energy at least. Gives up an AK to AZ, but that's something NRG are very well aware of. The question is whether or not they want to hunt for this or not.
Oh, for sure, right? They got 2 MAC-10s. This is the perfect time to hunt.
Oh, well, yeah, for the MAC-10s, definitely so. They have nothing really to lose. Cirque is definitely going to want to get up on that op as quickly as possible. But, you know, you don't want to lose too many AKs. You know that North are going to be buying up in the upcoming round.
That's a really weird angle for AZ. He's exposed to toilets and both sides of long.
Yeah, just literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, like you can't survive there. Not too sure about that, but either way, nice round from Fugly and NRG. They're going to be able to take it on the anti-ecos, and now North, well, they've got a couple of opportunities here, but it's really just relying on this buy at this point.
It really is. It's similar fashion as to what we saw in Nuke, right? Not going to be a whole lot of buy rounds in the near future for North. And NRG actually going greedy with this. They've decided to not opt for an op here. Still MAC-10s on Daps and Zerk, and the only one reinvesting really is Fugly. He was the one person to go down.
I'm a fan of it, though. The only issue with this kind of buy is because North actually saved in that second round, they can get head armor. On a typical round, they wouldn't have head armor here, and these SMGs would be so much better.
But again, like if you're NRG, that's something that you have to consider as well. You know what your opponents have bought. You know what kind, like how many kills they've gotten with what weapons. So again, you should be aware of the money situation. So in addition to that, you also have the op on merch. So long range could be an issue. You need to be able to close the gap, at least with these MAC-10s, or use them as cannon fodder.
Oh, Kiebi, he snuck through the smoke. Mert's taking all the attention. Kiebi can do the damage, but he's only put up 1 kill. The AWP is well defending on the site, but he gets traded straight away. So NRG are in control, and they begin to push up deep as well. Daps can even take the CT spawn. The flash just missing as it hides behind the doorway. And North, they're not even waiting for the retake. They're diving straight in back to the site. Daps hidden around the corner, but it's Ethan to do the damage with the AK, and that's going to be 2 kills for him, leaving just AZ in the clutch. The clutch meister for this team, but it's maybe too much to ask for. He's pinned in the bank, and the money's being made for Daps as he looks for the kill with the MAC-10. Not even going to commit to the duel, and I like that. Just reserve, let your teammate do it. He's already taken the attention away from AZ, and yeah, will be the round. 14-5, they saved both rifles.
Nice to play. I'm not really sure what kicked in the sense of urgency for North in that retake. You can see how staggered they were. The one player who is leading up to Optim is just completely isolated, just all alone. He doesn't have any teammates anywhere near to actually get a trade. And it just seemed like that was a bit premature from North. They had plenty of time to actually set up for a better retake. Like, sure, you could go with the argument that they wanted to limit the kind of positioning that NRG could get after planting the bomb, but at least you have to do it by committee. You can't do it as an individual in those kind of scenarios and just pray that it works out. I think your win percentage just goes up significantly if you actually play that as a unit.
North, somewhat investing, but not fully. They should have a bit of saved money considering what they've got in this round. So Fugly again looking to just absolutely tear them apart. Does get a couple of kills before the trade eventually comes through. And Mertz just needs to save that gun. He needs to run the hell away from this entire situation. Try and bring the rifle into what could be one of the last rounds.
Yeah, and if you're NRG at this point, you don't really care whether or not you lose weapons or not. Like here, you should full on hunt for it. One thing is, again, you're gonna limit some of the utility potentially that North can have, but if nothing else, like having the potential of having having the potential of a one-tap kill on the side of the CTs is obviously very beneficial. And if you're NRG, you're so far ahead, you're gonna get to match point. You only need to luck into one more round. Like economy doesn't matter anymore for you. You're gonna have plenty of cash to buy out for the remainder of the half.
And so many opportunities. They've got 10 rounds to get one. Like the chances of North being able to pull this back are subsequently low.
Yeah, so I'm very surprised actually to see that they don't go more aggressively to hunt for that. Especially when they decided to do so in the third round, right? Like after the clean eco from North and everything, like they were really adamant about keeping that out of the hands of AZ, but well, in any case, they want to do a tactical pause. They know that this is the last-ditch effort from North. They're going to have to give it their all in hopes to get back into this.
I like it, though. I like when teams with a big lead call pauses, even though it's not necessary and they're doing fine. Just, like, make sure you don't choke the game. Make sure you don't throw away a huge lead, because realistically, while this should be fine, it's only going to take a few rounds for North to get back in the groove of things and start to feel warmed up and confident.
Yeah. Again, it's something about the mental aspect of it as well, where you just close out an opponent and just end them. Where you show no mercy, no weaknesses in that sense, and you just get the job done. That plays a big part.
I can't remember what game this was. I think it was a VP game yesterday that we casted. Wasn't it 14-6 to a team and they called a pause?
14-16 to VP, they called a pause.
And we made a joke like, oh, no, this is fine. And then they still lost the game.
Yeah. It doesn't always work out, as VP showed, but NRG off to a much better start. That's a completely free B side. So North went all in towards that A setup. They wanted to get aggressive, but it's not going to pay off. Zerk is sandwiched inside of underpass, but now they know at least where two of the players from North are and where they're going to be retaking from.
But they spent so long trying to take control back of the connector that it's actually allowed NRG to not only get control of the site, but push into the CT spawn. The smoke is beginning to fade. There's only a bit of utility left up for this T side. So much for the CT side, but they need kills instead. Valdi gets back in with another frag, and we have a NRG. This can be very, very hard to counter. Smoke on the bomb, Breezy running forward. They won't expect the aggressive position, but it doesn't seem to matter. They're defusing it anyway. Valdi's defending Kierby, and Daps is just stabbing in the smoke. He's not going to be able to stop it. North keeping the game going, and with 3 alive as well, that's all they needed.
That was a messy retake.
Yeah.
I think NRG's decision-making there is a little bit wonky. Obviously, very chaotic situation, so hard to kind of get the good read on what you want to do. But Breeze obviously knows that his teammate in pit gets gunned down by Valde, who's playing, I guess, on the slope side of Monster. Could very easily, like, he knows somebody's moving towards the bomb with the smoke down, but he could so easily get that early frag on Valde and then go back to trying to disrupt the diffuser, because he already has another teammate, in position to help him out with that. That would alleviate so much pressure. Instead, they're just banking everything on hitting their shots through smoke, which seems like a bit of a Hail Mary in that situation.
However, NRG still have money, and plenty of it as well. So this is another full buy-in for the T side, and we'll have a couple of these before North eventually put them down on pistols. If that is to happen, of course, that's assuming NRG doesn't win this final round and actually bring us to a 3rd map. And that will be Mirage as well. So a confident map for North, but
yeah,
not impossible for NRG to even take this series, which would be an impressive feat. But let's start with this map first. Ethan certainly trying to finish it off instead. 2 kills up on short. He's going to lock it down. Kierby with a fast rotation from the back of the connector, but they don't even try and focus him. They just focus on the A site. They smoke him off, negate the problem, look to get that bomb down and force North to retake.
NRG just taking their time here. They're playing this really well. Don't want to throw this away, and Cirque is going to definitely put the first nail in the coffin. Kierby gives up his position. It's a 1v3, and all eyes peeled towards this B A-long.
Don't think this is doable. Daps is playing this so well as well. They have a crossfire. As soon as Daps make contact, Breezy can just peek out wide, or the vice versa. They even have Fugly as an insurance policy down towards short, so Kierby has to push around the Molotov, but he does open up. There's the first, but he won't expect Fugly in the corner, and that's going to be the kill from from NRG to finish it off and take us to a 3rd map. A dominant 2nd map from the North American side, and that's really good to see after how one-sided Nuke was.
Yeah, and again, like, it goes to show that it's not a fluke what they've been doing in the online leagues. They know how to play Counter-Strike, and you can tell that they're a solid team. That duo of Fugly and Shirk on that A-bomb set just completely shut down North to the point where it's like, well, we can't really do much towards A, so we don't know what to do. That's pretty much how it felt watching that game. And then, that just tells you how much credit you should give to the side of NRG. And they even, started to muster up a better and better defense on the B-bomb side eventually, but it's more than enough on what they needed, and to get their map pick back.
Yeah, I'm convinced, to be honest, at this point. I'm pretty impressed by that. The thing is, now we move to Mirage, and this is more of a comfort map for North in that sense, right? Of course, Overpass isn't really one that they frequent in the same sense, so having Mirage as a 3rd map still makes me convinced that North are, or should be fine, but NRG have certainly impressed me so far.
Yeah, no, they've been really good on this map, and it's cool to see that. Well, you wanted to see more out of the 3 youngsters. We got to see that, and we definitely got to see more out of Fugly. Had an absolute burner of a game, so that's extremely positive. Again, it's a pretty one-sided victory, so in a similar sense that we saw after the first map, shouldn't be too hard for North to kind of reset, get into Mirage, and as you mentioned, it is familiar territory for them. They played it yesterday versus Mouse Sports, had a really, really good showing, probably could have won that map as well. So, in many ways, they probably feel like this is still very doable.
Yeah. Another big factor there was MSL with 7 kills, right? We saw how dominant he was on the first map, and now he just came into the second one and seen absent. So hopefully we can have all the stars shining on both teams, and we can have a fun and long third map. No more stumps here for this series, I hope, and we're going to be finding that out just after the break. So join